time for the Annie Awards nominations. Welcome back to the Hannahcast YouTube channel, and the reason why I'm sounding the alarm is because I was right. I was 100% right in my assumption that Disney was going to be in trouble this year in the animated feature category, because again, like I said, the Annie Award nominations have come out. If you don't know what that is, it's the award ceremony for animation and the animation industry. And just look at the nominees for Best Feature. We have The Boy and the Heron, Nimona, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Suzume, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. What's missing? You know, I'm wondering, you know, oh yeah, Elemental, and obviously Wish, but come on. Like, everyone has been saying, oh, Elemental is definitely safe in the best animated feature race. It has a good box office story where, like, it flopped on its weekend, but then people kept going to see it. And I've been saying, I don't care. It has some of the worst reviews out of any Pixar film. Yeah, the reviews are decent, but the Oscars don't really go for decent these days. They hold Disney to a high standard. I mean, and I've always brought this up. Look at the past few years. Look at the past decade. We had Monsters University, which everyone thought was going to get nominated for Best Animated Feature, especially in a weak year for animated films like 2013 was, and it didn't get nominated. The Good Dinosaur. Everyone thought that was getting nominated for Best Animated Feature, and then it didn't. Cars 3 was a possibility. You know, it got nominated for the Annie Award, and it got nominated for Critics' Choice. It was also kind of a weaker year for animated movies. And then, look at that. The Oscars said no thanks to Cars 3. Then, you have one of the biggest snubs in recent memory, Frozen 2. Alright? This had everything going for it, and I do mean everything. Not only did it make every single precursor, all right, Golden Globe, Critics' Choice, Annie, BAFTA, PGA, and it made over, it became, actually no, not just made over $1 billion, it became the second highest grossing animated film of all time. And it had pretty much recently come out, so it was just fresh on everyone's minds. And then, at the last second, the Oscars snubbed it. They snubbed Frozen 2, of all things. What am I getting at here? Well, again, I've been saying for months Disney's in trouble, all right? Like, I've been saying, I even checked this, since May, Disney was going to get snubbed out of Best Animated Feature, because at the time, Elemental did not have the best reviews, and granted, it still doesn't. It got, like, the reviews did get better, but they were not that strong back then. Also, the trailer or teasers for Wish came out, and it looked horrible. Like, the animation looked like garbage. It looked like they were trying to do what Spider-Verse did, but Disney didn't really know how, and so it ended up looking like a half-baked Disney animated film. And that's pretty much what we got. There has never been a Walt Disney Animation Studios movie that was this hated since Chicken Little. Alright, so like, Wish was absolutely out of the conversation. And then somehow it managed to get Golden Globe and Critics' Choice nominations. I've been saying Disney is in trouble. It's like, they're not on their A game this year. And the Oscars, they will have no qualms in snubbing Disney. They've done it before. I mean, look at 2011. Alright, we had the nominees A Cat in Paris, Chico and Rita, Kung Fu Panda 2, Puss in Boots, and Rango. Disney was just absent that year. Just poof. Just none. And this was coming off of Cars 2. Alright, Cars 2 came out, was not a big critical hit, and the Oscars said, no thanks, we can do better than that. And the fact that no one thinks that the same could happen to Elemental is crazy. Like, yeah, the reviews for Elemental weren't as bad as Cars 2, but they are still some of Pixar's weakest reviews to date. The fact that even the Annies said no thanks to Disney and went with Suzume instead, because like, Boy and the Heron, Spider-Verse, Ninja Turtles, and Nimona, I think most people, if, you know, they're not crazy and trying to predict Super Mario Brothers or God fucking wish, most people would have Nimona in there as well. Suzume has been creeping up. It made a lot of money. People really loved it, and it's just been kind of creeping around. And again, it got the Golden Globe nomination, so it's like it wasn't out of the conversation entirely. And the fact that it not only managed to get into the Annie Awards, but into Best Feature. Like, not even independent feature where, like, you know, Belle got nominated. This is just straight up Best Feature. And the Annies chose this over Elemental. And even in Best Independent Feature, which granted Disney doesn't really make independent features, I mean, you have Ernest and Celestine, A Trip to Jeberisha, I'm not sure what that is, Four Souls of Coyote, The Inventor, Robot Dreams, and White Plastic Sky. Now, why do I bring this up? Because that fifth slot could go to Robot Dreams as well. Like, at this point, I do not think you can put, Elemental in your top 5. Like, the fact that even people had it in their top 5 and had it, like, at number 3? Even if you have Elemental in your top 5, it's not number 3. History has shown that if your Disney movie has, like, low 80s on Rotten Tomatoes or below, they will snub you. And so you shouldn't be so confident as to have Elemental at number 3 when those two animated movies, Ninja Turtles and Nimona, were received way, way, way better than Elemental ever was. Like, yeah, they didn't have the big, box office story, but at the same time, Nimona was a Netflix movie, and Ninja Turtles actually did very well for itself, especially since it cost less than Elemental ever did. The thing about that whole box office narrative, alright, the whole box office narrative thing, I didn't buy it because narrative can only get you so far if you don't have the quality to back it up. If any film had a good narrative behind it, it was Nimona. Because Nimona was the canceled, Blue Sky Studios animated movie, because when Disney took over Fox, they also took over Blue Sky Animation Studios, and Nimona just went poof. It was just gone, it wasn't being made anymore. And then Netflix saved it. And I said, if Nimona has that kind of quality, if it's actually really, really, really good, then that narrative can become useful. And then look what happened. It became one of the most highly acclaimed animated films of the year. But it doesn't help Elemental because it's widely considered one of Pixar's weakest films. In terms of those 4 slots, then yeah, we have Boy and the Heron, Nimona, Spider-Verse, and Ninja Turtles. And that last slot is going to be really tough between Suzume and Robot Dreams. Because Robot Dreams has been getting a lot of Critics Circle awards. But again, Suzume has just been hitting big with the big players. But if I'm not mistaken, neither Suzume nor Robot Dreams have been, longlisted at the BAFTAs. But at the same time, there are only going to be 4 nominees. So at the BAFTAs, could we just see Boy and the Heron, Nimona, Spider-Verse, and Ninja Turtles? Perhaps. But yeah, it's tough for me to say. Right now, I might go with Suzume in animated feature. I might go with that, but it may very well be Robot Dreams. But regardless, I don't really care which one gets in either way, because I'm gonna be right in saying that Disney was going to be shut out of the Best Animated Feature race. And on their 100th anniversary, no less. That's what's going to make it worse. And I even considered that. It's the fact that Disney was just not on their A game last year, snubbing them out of Best Animated Feature is going to be, the final nail in the coffin. Now I'm going to pass the question off to you. What do you think of the Annie Award nominees? Let me know in the comments below what you think, and consider hitting that subscribe button, because if you don't, Disney will never recover from this.